What's the motherfucking deal? Welcome, excuse me, to the den. I hope you are having a wonderful afternoon. I think it is what is today? Wednesday? It's a wonderful Wednesday. I hope all is well in the den world or wherever you may be. I am your host at Honcho. I'm annoyed. I'm having some. I gotta get a hardwired keyboard. This, I don't know what something is impacting the keyboard for some reason. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Talk about helicopter parents today. Let's bust it open. Bust it wide open. That's before some of y'all tell me I don't know nothing about that. At Honcho HCH, you can follow my personal social medias on Instagram, Twitter, if you rock with those. I do follow back on my personal Twitters. No, Instagram. I don't follow a lot of people on Twitter. No offense. Just I keep that's my little echo chamber, if you will. Den Shop, I'm gonna get the Never Seen a Hater in Real Life shirt. You can go to Den Shop, get you that. Den Podcast, Saturday, 1 o'clock, we will have the live audio podcast. So make sure you go to Den Podcast, sign up, and make sure you're following. You have to hit that follow button so you get the notification. So make sure you're following the Den Show on that platform. That way you get the notifications of when that show goes live. If you want to make a one-time donation to the channel, you can go to streamlabs.com/The Den Show. And if you want to make a monthly pledge to the channel, shout out to James, Stina, Ms. Grace, Dan the Man, Diana, Betty, Donald Trump, and Ms. Goya for having faith in the long-term success of this community. I appreciate all of you. Den Show live on all the major social media platforms. And, you can follow there. I appreciate it. So, let's talk about helicopter parenting. What does it mean? I don't really know where it originated, but I know where I've heard it the most. And I think it can be good and it can be bad, right? But let's see what we have joining us this afternoon, and then we'll get all the way into it. Sipping Ken in the house. D the Gamma, what's the motherfucking deal? T'Challa, what's the motherfucking deal? Beyond the funny nigga, what's the motherfucking deal? Wise man in the house, what's the motherfucking deal? Jack Tripper, the motherfucking pimp, what's the motherfucking deal? Miss Bell, the bell has rung, class is in session. Mary, what's the motherfucking deal? Let's see. The pistachio pincher's in the house. Hello, Sweet Berry. Rashida Reed, what's the motherfucking deal? Boomerang ass parent, that's funny. Chevy Boy, what's the motherfucking deal? 335 in the motherfucking house. Shout out to the stenographer. What's the motherfucking deal? Yes, it is quite funny that Kenneth was the first one here. Janet Dunbar, what's the motherfucking deal? Let me see. Look, hey, if I missed you, I ain't diss you. Let's just get into this conversation. So, helicopter parenting, and again, let me see if we can get an explanation. See, that's what I'm talking about. The fucking, I don't know why. I might have to buy like a hardwired keyboard. You see this? It's only getting beats, but that's what took me so long because I kept having to fucking retype shit. And it's like it wasn't registering, and part of it would come up, and then go back and fix everything. But helicopter parenting, and so what I would assume is that, basically, what does a helicopter do? Think about like even the old gangster movies in LA. I'm sure if you're from LA or wherever, the ghetto birds. I'm sure it's not just LA, but I'm just using that as a reference. That's the first time I would see it. Anyway, LAPD would be out there looking for somebody, and they'd have the helicopter, and they'd be chasing them, and they'd have the little light on them or whatever. That's what I imagine when I think about helicopter parenting. You know what I mean? So the parent is overly involved in the life of their child. They tend to hover over every movement and decision. Oftentimes, they take control and do tasks on their behalf. They also enjoy broadcasting the details and events of their child's life to anyone who will listen. Helicopter parents do not ease up with age. In fact, as the child grows up, the tighter the grasp becomes. I don't necessarily believe that's true. That last part I don't believe is true. But here's my thing. The reason why I want to talk about helicopter parenting is because lately in the news, and I don't know how many of you guys watch, I don't watch, I just saw it trending. I'm not a fan of him at all. You know, maybe some of his beliefs outside of sports I can agree with, but as a sportscaster, his sports takes are terrible, Jason Whitlock. And so recently this weekend, I believe it happened that, you know what I'm saying, that LeBron was at his son's game. His son, you know, he leaned on somebody, and LeBron was excited about it, right? I ain't gonna lie, all these basketball dads nowadays, their kids all have weird hair. I don't understand it. But he was excited about it. He was celebrating, you know, before the game. He was doing dunking drills, and he was out there dunking and everything. And they used like this little clip, right? They used like this little clip to make it just seem like, what do they call it, brawny, which is weird, sounds like a fucking dinosaur. Like he was just disgusted by his dad. And what it was is his dad, you know, did like a little dunk or whatever in the game or in the layup drill line. And, you know, Bronny like turns and looks, and then he kind of turns his head back like he's gonna go on and continue doing what he's doing. And they just use this, they freeze frame like the exact second that he turns around, right? To make it look like he's just you know, just like you're, I don't know what you call it, resting face, not resting bitch, but you just turn and get back in line. And so they use that, they kept showing it like 5, 6, 7 times. That's what I say, media is crazy. Like, it's so many nuances when it comes to media. You got to think about the things, like I say, how they're doing. You got to think about timing. You got to think about what they are saying, what they're not saying, the words that they choose to use, because all this stuff is meticulously planned when they want to convey a certain level of information or when they want to convey a certain idea to you. So that's why I really don't, I'm telling you, I really don't engage in media anymore. If it's not like a live broadcast of a sporting event, I really don't care. But I will be going back and catching up on the Democratic debates. I know it is Woman Wednesday tonight, but we will see. Y'all might have gotten ousted by all these female candidates. You know, Kamala Harris might have ousted y'all for Women's Wednesday tonight. We'll see. We may have to push it back to tomorrow. I don't know if I should talk about it again. The last time I talked about the Democratic debates, that was the end of YouTube giving me love and the recommendations. But anyway, so, you know, people made a big deal about it. Well, it only seems like Jason Whitlock made a big deal about it, and then everybody kind of talked about it. A lot of athletes, a lot of people, you know, had comments on it and thoughts on it. Look, man, if LeBron acting up at his son's game or being energetic and enthusiastic, have you ever seen these clips of kids in high school? And I guarantee a lot of these kids' dads aren't there, but they dunk on somebody in a big game, or you can remember, I don't know how many of y'all remember Vince Carter, way back when. It was on the N1 mixtape, I believe it was Vince Carter, and he leaned on somebody. And the whole gym goes crazy, and the whole gym just runs out, and people just go nuts, right? And they just go crazy. Why can't a son's father have that same energy for himself, right? Like, why can't he have that level of interest in his son? I mean, because I'll tell you who didn't. I'll tell you who the fuck didn't. Michael fucking Jordan. His sons were trash. Michael Jordan's son got done by Eric Gordon. Gordon over Jordan. Because do you think if especially being considered one of the greatest of all time or greatest in that era, if he showed that type of energy and enthusiasm at his son's games, if he put on a show for those people don't see LeBron all the time. They may see, you know, LeBron, you know, coming and picking up, but hey, he puts on a little show for the people. Why not? Why not, you know, put on a couple little dunks? It's not hurting anybody. You know, the other kids are trash anyway. But my thing about this is that, why is this an issue? Why is this a problem that LeBron wants to put on a show for his son? Why? I mean, he wants to be happy about his son. But all of the deadbeats out there, I'm not going to say all of them are deadbeats. You know, we don't know each and every situation. Sometimes they're just working dads. But so many kids out there who don't have parents in the stand. I remember, man, look, my T. Jones used to come to my games, but my T. Jones has a habit of being habitually tardy. Like, I mean, never on time. Like, never. You got to tell her something's an hour earlier and still expect you to be late. Love my mom. The greatest dunk I ever had in a game. My mom literally, like, when I'm talking about, like, gym clearing, just game over with, we might as well end this now type shit. We were playing against a school, and I had a cousin that went to that school. And this was a tournament, actually. And so I'd hoop with him and some of his partners like the summer before. And I wasn't really, I was getting up, but it wasn't just like that. I'd actually start, balling a little bit, because I really didn't fuck with basketball too much till like the end of my like ninth grade year. I actually started playing like freely in the parks and shit. And so man, we're playing, and I know some like that couple of dudes on the other team, just chop it up, hey, what's up, whoop de whoop, hey, I remember you, yada yada yada. So my homeboy, he was good. He was good at trapping at half court. He always would get. He had a way of a knack for getting steals, but he would always blow the fast break. And so something told me just trail behind him. He was getting a steal at half court, so I'm just trailing behind him. He goes and throws up the layup. This shit like bounces off the side of the rim, so I'm just following. So I jump, I catch this bitch with my left hand, switch that hoe in midair, and windmill that hoe. Never done it ever again in my life. It was just completely off the cuff. Like, if I wanted to, couldn't do it ever again. Like, never tried to really. Just happened. Honestly, the way it took place, I thought I might have missed that hoe, right? I fucking turned around. I see the whole sideline. These motherfuckers just looking like the faces just dropped. People on the side running out the watch. I turn, I look at my coach. This motherfucker throws the clipboard and sits down. And then I'm looking, motherfuckers just looking at me like, man, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know I could do it. I thought I missed that bitch, honestly. So right after that, I turn and look on the sideline. Guess who's coming in with the camera? My mom. My mom, I don't think ever saw me dunk in a game. So it is what it is. She would always hear about it because people would be talking about, oh man, Honcho just did this, who did that. And so never seen it, but always would hear about it. Anyway. So for this man to be there and be in support of his son, I have absolutely no fucking problem with that. It's not a fucking issue. You know what I'm saying? Not a fucking issue. And for anybody to complain about their son being their dad being enthusiastic at their son's game, it's trash. Like yes, do I think LeBron is a fame hog at this point? Yeah, he's trying to get he's trying to build his brand as much as he can and all that other stuff. But I don't think that has anything to do with him being at his son's game. I don't think that has anything to do with him being happy about his son playing. Is that why he went to LA? Absolutely. But old buddy tried to tie all this stuff in the one thing and make it seem like that. And then try to make it, he tied it into a situation where LeBron's mom was yelling at somebody during the game, and LeBron told her to sit her ass down. He's like, well, that's what LeBron needs to do, sit his ass down. Man, look, that type of energy gets the people going, okay? that type of energy gets the people going. So I have no problem with that. But now that he's calling him a helicopter parent. You look at LeVar Ball, he's a helicopter parent. Oh, he's doing too much. But it's funny that, until old buddy went to China and did some dumb shit with his stupid ass. But the rest of his sons, up until the point they had all gone to college or were going to be in the league or whatever else it's going to be, there were no issues with that. That one issue is the one. He's helped his sons get national fame and notoriety. Because if it weren't for the dad, nobody would. Lonzo Ball would have been good, but he would have been an afterthought. He wouldn't have been a guy he wouldn't have been a household name. He would have been a guy that we're all talking about. But yet he's a helicopter. He's doing too much. He doesn't let the son speak. Or he don't let him do this, that, and the third. I have no problem with LeVar Ball. I have no problem with anything LeVar Ball has ever done. I know people want to talk about the Leahy when he told her stay in your lane. Absolutely right. She just stayed in his lane. She talked about his parents. She called him a helicopter parent and this, that, and the third. And so when he came on the show, he's like, he felt it was disrespectful. He didn't want to talk to her. Is there anything wrong with that? I don't think so. So my thing is now, every situation is not going to turn into helicopter parents being in the best position for their children. There are going to be times that helicopter parents do too much, right? They do a little bit too much. They can get a little over involved, and they can stunt the growth of their children. So I think there's levels to it. There are motivational helicopter parents, I guess you could call them. I don't even think helicopter. You're just looking out for your fucking child. This is a crazy world we live in. We were talking about yesterday, what is the role of the school? What is their purpose? But it all starts at home. And so if you're trying to prevent these schools, the way this world is, society, and having this imprint on you, then you got to be on top of all this shit. Because if it don't take nothing but a second to turn away, and society has their grasp on you. That society has a chance to indoctrinate, to infiltrate the mind of a child. So you have to be stern, tough, and available. But you do have a lot of them who, like I say, stunt the growth of the children. Children never develop. The parents do everything for the kid never learns. The kid starts depending on the parent for everything, to think for them, to do for them, to operate for them, and then they don't develop their own identity, and then that also can stunt their growth in the world. I don't think LeBron's doing that. Definitely not on Taco Tuesday. I don't think that LeVar is doing that. All his kids seem to have a unique, weird personality. That middle one, he's going to be questionable when it's all said and done. He's going to be depressed that he didn't make it, so he's going to, especially with all the social media fame, it's going to be fucked up for him. He's going to be a coach somewhere. Even Serena's dad. Serena and Venus's dad seem like they have called him and label him the same way. Well, I have two daughters who were world champions. They're some of the greatest to ever play the game. You know their name because of his helicopter parenting. I don't know if Tiger Woods' dad was a helicopter parent or not. I'm sure in some way. I don't know. But you have a lot of these, and again, a lot of it's dads. I think moms operate in a different way. This is not to knock moms. This is not to insult the mommies. Yeah, don't attack me. But I think when you have certain with father figures, I think the emotions are a little bit less involved, and I think there's a different strategy to it. And I'm not saying moms don't get them there, because shit, but she seems like a different breed. Old gal, she got her son there by actually being a part of it. What's her name? Lamar Jackson's mom. So there's that. So I'm not just going to highlight all the good of helicopter parenting. What I want to talk about today is, I'm going to open up the lines here shortly. What I want to talk about today is it good, is it bad to be a helicopter parent? Is it better off to let the kid roam free and figure out everything on their own? Or is it better to have a healthy amount of input into the child's life? When do you become too involved, and when is it not enough? Where is the healthy range? And I think it's different for different children. And even if parents do still get involved at an older age, is that wrong? I mean, your child is your child for life. Now, at a certain point, you have to let them make decisions. But look, you can always take advice from someone older than you. If you look at anybody who has done anything in their life worthwhile, you look at some of the people where we look up as great people or legendary or icons or whatever you want to call them, you ask them certain questions, you'll always get certain answers that are quite similar. And even they have people that they turn to for advice, people who have lived, people who have had experience, people who have gone through that. Well, everybody doesn't have access to the icons. Well, I guess you can with social media or the right amount of money, but you always have a parent who's been through some things, right? So can't you turn to them for advice? Why not? What's wrong with that? So again, where is the line start? Where does the line end? Where is too far? Where is not enough? Is helicopter parenting wrong? Are there more benefits to a helicopter parent than there are negatives? Or does it matter who the parent is that is the helicopter parent? Anyway, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. I've been ignoring the chat a lot, so I apologize. Oh, do I get the time, Kenneth, for some reason? Yeah, let's do it. That'd be nice. First warning. Next warning, bad hammer. Let's see. Let's talk about it, man. Let's get into the conversation. Let me, you used a banned word. There's very few things that are banned in the end. There's very few things that, it's not even a banned word, it's just a banned word for you, Kenneth. Because you're a fringe infringer. You come in, you're already on the fringe. And you know you're going to infringe, so your leash is a lot shorter than everyone else's. That's just how it works for you, Kemah. Sorry, it just is that way. Mm. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I was like, man, where are the headphones? Wait, I couldn't find them. Shit. Man, I'm gonna tell you one thing. The title has successfully been taken from Roman. Roman is no longer the king of the den line. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this afternoon?
It's Belle. You know I had to get mine in first.
Yes, ma'am. The bell is wrong. How are you doing today, Miss Belle?
Good. I got my laundry list. Now, first of all, helicopter parenting. I think it's absolutely right. I think it applies to both parents. I think the one step up the level or deeper or whatever you want to call it would be either stage mom or stage dad. You know, because you have these parents that are so focused on their child's career that they're not just guiding them, they're pushing them whether or not they want to be there or not. And we've all seen it, whether it's actual actors or sports or academia, but it becomes so focused that sometimes it's more about what the parent's dream is for the child than what the child really wants to truly go through. So I think that because you were asking what's the one negative step further in a deeper direction, and I think that that's it. I could be wrong. Number two, I don't think helicopter parenting is completely a bad thing. It has positive and negatives. If you're living in a situation where there's a lot of high risk, whether you're in a place where there's a lot of crime or there's a lot of dysfunction, or even if you're in a wealthy community but everybody's sort of disconnected, it's not bad to make sure that you're there with your kid and you know what's going on with your child. I raised my kids like it was back in the 60s. You know, you need to be accessible to me, and we need to be responsible to each other. I'm a different sort of parent, as though I've always treated my kids as though they're real people, not just children, but there's accountability there. Two, I can't remember. I got sidetracked a little bit because there were several points that you made. What was the thing that you had said after? What was the next step of helicopter parenting? Oh, 2 or 3 or 4. I don't know what I'm up to at this point. For the topic, I thought it was interesting that Kenneth was the first one to chime in on the boards this afternoon. That was funny as shit.
Kenneth bored. Nobody wants to play video games with Kenneth, so he likes to come in the den and be...
he's on a short leash because he goes back to school in a couple of weeks.
Thank God.
But, and that's the funny thing, too. Okay, and that was the other point that you were talking about, is these young kids having, I'm going to rephrase it in my words, is having role models or people to look up to. Now, I'm going to say something that I think is really, really cool. I think that there's some awesome role models in the den, even in my own peer group with, like, Miss Grace and Mrs. Meat, and Rashida, and not just the women and the guys. Man Up. You know what I mean? People who have some experience of life and are willing to put it out there and say, hey, this is what I've gone through. And even you as well, Honcho, you know, at my age, I still learn things from other people, and that's awesome to have a role model. And that's part of the village that we need to raise our idiots. Until they can become grown, they think they're full of themselves, and then they go out in the real world and realize, oh, crap, I don't know anything. And it's so true. You know, there's an old saying, hire a teenager while they still know everything. And then the sad part is this generation, I'm going to side this with a real quick story, and then I'm going to go. There was a man in the town that I live in. He owned a restaurant for 40 years. He said the last 10 years, it was like a hometown kind of diner restaurant, and he said it was harder and harder to find like after school help and things like that because the kids just don't want to work today. They want the almighty buck, but they don't want the responsibility and the work to go with it. And I'm finding that to be a broader problem. And I know it doesn't seem like it's connecting with what the topic is. But that being said, where does that disconnect come in with the helicopter parenting? If they're doing their job, aren't these kids supposed to be more responsible rather than less? And that's kind of all I got. But if you got any questions, I'm up for that.
Okay. What's the worst case of helicopter parenting that you've ever seen?
When it truly became stage parent, and they were so micro-focused on that child's accomplishments that it didn't become about the child anymore. It became about the goal of whether or not it was getting a part in a role, or it was like dance moms, that kind of thing, or it was, hey, we're going to get you to the NFL, or we're going to, whether it's a mom or a dad, those are the kind of, it's not bad to be driven. Please don't misunderstand that, and it's a great thing to support your kid. But when the dream becomes more about the parents' push than it's about the kid's dream, that's when it can become easily toxic. And that's just sort of my seeing it. I think it's awesome when you have parents that support their kids, that, they stand by them. And, quick example, when my kids played sports and halfway through they were pissy about it, I said, listen, you don't want to play next season? I don't have a problem with it, but you will finish out the 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever you signed up for, and you will follow through to that to the end. And if you choose not to do it, that's okay, because it's accountability and responsibility on the educational level. Now, the next season, both my kids went back to doing the same sport that they said that they wouldn't do. Because when it got hard, nobody wants to do it. And so that's where, and honestly, I think that's where the edge of it becomes helicopter parenting, and it becoming the micro-focus of the parent pushing for the kid's goal, and it being more about the parent than the kid. I'd like to hope to think that I was the lesser of those evils, but I don't know. And I'm not doing that one on air. Now, last but not least, the first two raffles, me and I think Sweet Barry voted, and neither one of us, it didn't take either one of our bets. So that's pretty much all I got to say. I'm at the pistachio point. So you got any other questions?
No, ma'am, but I will hook you up with those pistachios, and Sweetberry gets nothing because she didn't call in and say anything about it.
I know I kind of got the edge on her with that one, but I'd like to hear from her today. That would be cool. There's my challenge. And here's my challenge of the day. I'd like to hear from all the mods as when they can get themselves in, whether it's today, tomorrow, or by Friday. So if they want to be counted in their thought of me voting for them, they got to step up and call in. And I'm throwing that gauntlet down.
Okay. The gauntlet has been laid, folks. Who will step up and meet the challenge?
For all the mods. That's including Heidi, because she never calls in.
Heidi just sends people very questionable pictures in their Snapchats. That's her thing.
Like I said, I'm just throwing the challenge out. Everybody else can make their choices about how they deal with it.
All right. Well, Miss Bell, I appreciate you getting the party started. The class in session. The bell has rung.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Honcho.
All right. Thank you, Miss Bell. Nah, we don't believe it, Heidi. You gotta call in again, prove it. If you did it once, you can do it again. So I agree. That's very interesting. I didn't even think about the stage moms, and I go back and I think about like the John Bonet thing when I think of stage moms. But you see Who's the one, the big one? Honey Boo Boo. Like that whole situation. Is that necessarily helicopter parenting? Because she lets the little kid do damn near whatever she wants, drinking fucking Mountain Dew and Coke and shit, and she's all powered up all the time. So I think that is yeah, and oh, that was what it was. Heidi was, well, Heidi was the one who called, was like, huh? Anomaly. You know, but I can understand, kids like Kenneth not wanting to continue playing. It's embarrassing if you get beat up by tight ends and you lose and you get beat up taking 2 L's on the same field. That's terrible. Yeah, it's terrible. It was very terrible. So again, but the dance mom, stage moms thing, that's crazy because that is a huge thing. And so how much of the helicopter parenting is parents living vicariously through their kids? And I think everybody tried to say that about LeBron. Like, I don't think you can say that about LeBron because when he's currently still in the NBA, still one of the best players playing in the game today, I don't think he's living vicariously through his son who's in junior high school or whatever. No, I'm gonna think that one's out. Good, just in time, because I was going to make sure to undermine it from the inside. So my thing is just like LeVar. I don't think his situation, it could be a level of that, but I think he's just proud of his kid. Like, what's wrong with being proud of your children, knowing that you put the work in, especially if you know. It's just like an athlete, just like anybody. If you know that you're working harder than the next person, you know that you're putting in the work. You know the effort you're putting in. Is it wrong to be proud of the work that you do? Is it wrong if I know, hey, I'm in competition with someone, say it's a bodybuilding competition, some type of weightlifting competition, and I'm putting in, 3, 4, 5 hours of continuous work, which is way too much. I'm just making an example here. Don't take it literal. 4 or 5 hours of continuous work, killing it in the gym every day. And the next person, they come in, they're talking for about 30 minutes. They're hanging out by the water fountain, checking out whatever yoga pants they can see. They go do curls for 3 or 4 minutes. They use the Smith machine. They do a couple little push-ups. They don't work. They skip leg day, and they still want to talk. Well, I'm going to the gym. I'm doing this, and then hey, well, I put in work. Is it okay? Is it wrong to brag? Is it? I mean, not even saying bragging, but is it wrong to be proud of your accomplishments? If you're doing a better job, or that you're doing something, your kids are excelling because of the work that you're putting in. Is it wrong to be proud of that? You say, what do you think about schools in Louisiana allowing the schools put 7th graders in the high school? I worry about that my granddaughter's going to. Oh, that's tough. So is that what it is? Are they put them all in the same school now? I think that's kind of weird. I think that there should be. I think schools should remain segmented to a point. Because let's be honest, kids are perverts, and I'm not talking about your granddaughter, but I think if you put too many kids around too many, especially in this day and age where everybody's trying to be grown fast, and I just don't think it's a good idea. I think it should be kind of safe. And then the thing about it too is I think it's important, when you have elementary, you have junior high, and then you have high school. I think it's good to get knocked down a peg. And so what I mean by that is, you work your way up to 5th grade, you're the big dog on campus, right? Well, now you go back to the bottom of the rung. You work your way back up. I think there's a feeling, a learning lesson that goes with that. And you're back on the top of the tier. Then you go back down to high school, you work your way back up to being seniors, you get to run the campus or whatever. Then you go into the real world and you just stay at the bottom because you don't learn anything in school. But no, seriously though, I think that it's important to go through those experiences. And so I don't really think that's a good idea. I think that's terrible. Wow, no, I think that's awful. I think that's very, very bad because I just don't think that's terrible. I think that's awful. I think there's going to be a lot of questionable behavior going on. But are there like separate areas on campus? So, certain people on this side, certain people. I mean, they have to do something about that because that just opens up the opportunity for too much bullshit to happen. Too much distraction, especially when you're talking about, we live in a day and age where, especially they say like right now, girls in that age group will have the biggest amount of social pressure, especially when you're developing, and then they're looking at Instagram models and they're looking at all this. They're going to be watching these older girls in the schoolhouse. It's going to put a certain level of pressure on them that is going to be negative. And I'm not saying all the kids are just going to run crazy, but one incident is one incident too many. And it's going to happen because you're opening, you're inviting the opportunity for that to happen. Okay, separate area, one big school. Okay, like I said, if they keep them apart, then maybe it's not so bad. But there should not be. They should minimize any kind of intermingling, any kind of interaction, just because. So I question lunchtime and things like that, because I mean, you have more than one lunchroom. Is there a separate lunchroom? Like, there's a lot of questions that I have when it comes to that. That's kind of concerning. That is that's very odd. But they have elementary school graduation. Yeah, they do. They have like everybody has graduating. You got like kindergarten graduation and shit. Try to start the ceremony, some little fucking badass kid tells you shut the fuck up. That's what's happening. It's good for a 12-year-old, yeah, and fucking football campus. Speaking of helicopter parents, I want to talk about something I saw the other day, and wanted to talk about it because is it racism? I don't know. Because like I say, I'll call racism racism. I don't know if this was, but then I kind of feel like it could be, and then it might not have been. Because again, a lot of these things don't get out there until somebody calls the news and tells them. Now, because somebody perceives something as racism, then they call the news, this happened, then it can be pushed like that. So anyway, 10-year-olds who were playing, I was not a bully. I was accused of throwing somebody in a trash can. I don't remember it happening, but obviously it was bothering him 10 years, 13 years later, however long it was, whatever. Anyway, he deserved it. He was treating on his old lady. He was a bad person, and he was trying to be a preacher too, so he deserved it. But 10-year-old black kid playing dodgeball hits another kid in the face, right? Kid has some type of injuries, issues, whatever. It's been documented that this kid, they were playing on the playground, gets hit in the face with a ball. That's kind of the rules of dodgeball, right? There's no safety zone. It's not baseball. There's no helmets like football. Kid gets hit in the face with dodgeball. I mean, that's just part of the game. That's what happens. Has some medical issues or whatever. They arrest a little 10-year-old kid. He gets charged, right? I think that family should sue the shit out of the other family that pressed charge on them. The mom, she didn't want to be identified. She's like, well, I've told the school about this before, and well, guess what? Your fucking kid shouldn't be playing dodgeball. If he can't take, getting hit, if he's not healthy enough to interact, if he's not, physically adept enough to play aggressive games, then maybe he needs to stick to Fortnite. Maybe he needs to stick to other shit. Like, there's no reason that kid should be allowed to be in a situation. Do you think all these other fucking kids know about all of his issues? Like, do you think that these kids will, let me read your medical history before you get in the game, little Johnny. Oh, it says here you're susceptible to head injury. All right, everybody, we're going to make special rules for little Johnny so he can play the game today. And we're gonna make a big deal out of it. Like, to me, that's fucking stupid. It's really fucking stupid. Like I said, again, I don't know. I find it extremely questionable, and I want to lean to an air of prejudice, because who the fuck arrests a 10-year-old kid for fucking playing dodgeball, right? Like, unless this mom just has some weight. Because I remember, look, it was a situation where I was studying in 5th grade. I'm not even going to say whose mom I believe. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this was this person's mom. I'm not going to say what place they're on, and because the name is rare, so like I say, there's some things. But this person's mom was a assistant principal, and we were playing a game on a bus. And I'll finish this story after this call. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this evening?
It's Shannon. Hey, how are you?
I'm okay, Shannon. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I think that case is crazy. I heard about that case.
And why do you think the case is crazy?
Because to me, there's no reason why that case should have went to criminal court. Why it should even go to criminal court is dodgeball.
Are they going to make dodgeball illegal?
No, like, they filing criminal charges. That kid gonna have an assault charge on his record at 10 years old.
That's tough.
And I do think it is some kind of prejudice against it because she didn't do that when he was hit in the face before. Because she said he was hit in the face before by another kid, and they didn't call the police or anything before. So,
do you think that because it happened the first time and nothing was done about it, and then it happened again, that could have escalated the situation, that she became upset because it's happened the second time?
I can't even really answer that for sure because she said that her kid was fine when he was hit in the face, and he told her that the kid apologized and they're going to stay friends.
Okay, so I didn't hear that part. That's tough. So how much of this is her being a helicopter parent?
She's a neglectful parent to me because, wait, you're talking about helicopter parent. I don't really know too much about helicopter parents because I think it depends. I think it depends on what the child is doing for a parent to be overly involved in their child's life.
And what would they have to be doing for them to be overly involved, in your opinion?
To me, I think it would have to be like, they would have to be overly involved when it comes to like the child doing something that's putting them in a dangerous situation. Like, for instance, somebody that I grew up with, this girl, she ran away for 2 weeks. And even though she was a grown adult, she acted like somebody's out of control 15-year-old.
So wait, what?
And
wait. Reverse. Somebody ran away for 2 weeks, but they're an adult?
yeah.
How old were they when they ran away?
They were like the person is the same age as me. This person lived in my neighborhood. I know them.
What was the
But
age at
she
that time?
took off. No. Let me finish real quick. I'm trying to be serious. You making me laugh. I'm trying to be serious.
I just asked the age. How is that making somebody laugh? What was the age? That's all I'm asking.
They were like 19, 20 at the time. But the point is, her parents are overly involved because she's always done like dangerous stuff like that. She's always like taken off and nobody knows where she's at and whatnot. So her parents treat her the way she does because of how she behaves. Like I said, she's a grown adult, but she acts like somebody's out of control 15-year-old. So I don't really know about helicopter parent. I think that some parents have a good reason why they're overly involved in their child's life, even when their child is an adult.
I'm gonna be honest.
Because of their child's behavior. So I don't really know. I was just trying to chime in about that case because I think that case is crazy.
Well, my thing is this, but isn't that on the parents? The way the child behaves and how the outcome of their behavior, isn't that based on the parents' actions? So aren't they kind of responsible for that behavior?
Yeah, if you think about it, because they didn't. There's something lacking in that type of parenting because she took off for like 2 weeks. Nobody knew where she was. She left her phone in her purse on purpose, and she has, and they had to file a missing persons report because they didn't know where she was.
But is it really running
So
away
I
if you're
just
20,
think,
19, 20 years old? I mean, is that really running away? Because, like, I mean, you're a legal adult at that time.
yeah, but if you're living under your parents' roof and you ain't got a job and they paying shit for you, they paying your bills and everything and paying you out of debt and you living under their roof, yeah, it is kind of running away.
That's tough. That's tough. Okay. So, what do you think should have been the
Because
outcome
I've
of this?
been told my whole entire life that you're not grown until you get a job, pay your own bills, and turn in your own key.
Well, this is true.
So
This is absolutely true. Um, so, what happened after they found the girl?
she came back, and her parents, like I said, she was still living with her parents at the time. Well, I don't know if she's still living with any of her parents at this moment or not. Last I heard, like a few years ago, she was living with her father. But her parents just like they became more strict and everything, like strict, like restricted her freedom and what she can basically do. But I don't disagree with that because of what she did, because she could have been killed.
Well, she's 20.
It doesn't matter. Like I said, you are not fucking grown until you living on your own and paying your own bills and everything. Don't matter what your age is.
So, why do
If
we have
your
to?
parents, if you still living at home with your parents and your parents are paying everything for you, paying your bills and giving you money, you're not grown.
Well, my thing is this: why, instead of becoming more strict, why didn't they probably implement or institute behaviors that would allow her to be more independent? Is she developed mentally disabled or something? Like, is there an issue there?
No, no, no. She just behaves like an out of control teenager.
But if you continue to treat her like a teenager, then she's going to continue to act that way. So why not enact stuff? Hey, well, if this is the case, then you need to be doing
Yeah,
this.
but if
You need
you
to be
constantly lying, if you constantly lying
okay.
and doing stuff,
Lie
and
from your
that's
own
gonna
house.
make them not trust you.
But lie from your own house. But what I'm saying, that's not stopping them from saying, okay, hey, look, this is the deal. You need to go find a gig. You need to go find a job, and you need to start, building up to becoming independent. Because there's no reason that we should be continue to have to be worried about you doing these things. But hey, when you can do these things freely, obviously she wants some form of independence, freedom, and ability to do what she wants to do. So her
Yeah, but
parents
if
shouldn't be
you,
doing
like
it.
I said, if you want more of an independence and a freedom, that's not how you go about it, though. You don't act out of control and everything. You act like a grown adult and say, "Hey, I'm gonna start working so I can go buy my own place and get out and everything and do what you want." Then you can do what you want to do. But you don't like, like I said, you don't act out of control like having strangers in your parents' house while they gone and shit's getting stolen, or you running away from home for 2 weeks without no way anybody can call you, or you don't tell anybody where you're going so that they know. So if something happened to you, they got to know what to tell the police. They got to be able to know to tell the police, okay, she was last seen with such and such. So I don't really know.
But what I'm
To
saying,
me, I just think, in my opinion, I think it just depends on the parent and the child and what's going on.
but what I'm saying is though, still, if she comes back home and after that and you get stricter on her, how is that helping her in the long run? How is that benefiting her and her actions in the long run? I mean, how is that helping her move
It's
her
not
towards
benefiting
independence?
her in the long run, but I think because they got stricter on her because they were scared. Because she was gone for 2 weeks when nobody knew where she was, nobody knew what she was wearing, who she was with. There was no way to contact her. They were scared. She could have got killed. So, like I said, that's why I think it just depends.
Um, I think that's an interesting scenario because just I mean it doesn't seem like she was that maybe they were helicopter parents or whatever you want to call it, but maybe she didn't have her own identity in a way. What I mean by that is a skill or something. Was she ever an athlete? Was she in any kind of extracurricular activities, or was she just basically a kid?
Um, she was in She was in the debate club. I don't really know. That's all I know that she was in. I don't know how long she was in it, but like I said, because of some of the crazy shit that she's done while living under their roof, they restricted her. Like it had even got to the point where at one point her dad forced her to work at the same place that he was working at.
Okay, so if she had a job and she doing this, like why? That's what I'm not coming. I mean, I don't know. It just sounds strange to me.
Well, the point is, because she didn't want to work that job, but her dad was making her work that job. Her dad was making her do this, that, and the other, and she didn't want to do those things.
Okay, well, then all she has to do is not live here. I mean, she don't have to live. You don't want to do any of that stuff. You don't have to live here either. I mean, it's kind of how it works. Like I understand, but at a certain point, you have to let go. Otherwise, you're going to be responsible for that burden forever. I mean, you're going to be that's going to be a problem forever, and you're going to be too busy stressing yourself out, especially as you get older, trying to chase behind a young adult, trying to solve all their issues when you're going to have your own problems to do. And if you don't put her in a situation where she's mature enough at a certain age, you guys are going to be too old to handle certain things, that she won't be responsible, won't have the knowledge or the ability to take care of any of the problems that you have. So,
I know, and I think that's the problem when they restricted her for her being gone, because I think it just got worse when they did that, and she ain't got no, she doesn't know how to be independent on her own because they doing everything for her instead of letting her fall and pick herself up.
Well, you got anything else on helicopter parenting there, Miss Jones?
No, I don't. I just want to call in and just, like I said, I was trying to give my opinion about that case.
No, you just
But
looking for
I gotta go
discussion.
to an appointment, so y'all have a good day. Bye.
All right, Michelle, appreciate the call.
Bye.
She's just here for the pistachios. That's all it was. She just trying to hustle me for some pistachios. That's all right. I'm gonna let her make it. I'm gonna let her catch them. I'm gonna let her get the pistachios this time. But next time, you know what I'm saying? What kind of appointment Shannon got going? Massage appointment. Let me find out. Shannon a low key masseuse. So yeah, there's that. Where we at? Where we at? Let me see. Where we at? Where we at? Where we at? Yeah. See, look. It was school days. I think it was self defense. I'm gonna be honest. I think I remember it, and I don't think it was. I think that because the dude was a short guy. I think he had like short man syndrome. I probably did throw him in the trash can, but I think I thought it was somebody else. And oh, no, I don't know. Cause one of them, somebody. It was like some little annoying kids. It was like some little Kennets back in school, man, and they were like annoying. They talk a lot of shit, and so I think I do remember throwing him in the trash can, but it's because he talks a lot of shit. Like, he just talked a bunch of shit. He's a funny looking little dude. He just talked a bunch of shit for no fucking reason, and it's just like, just getting on my nerves. I think I just got tired of him talking shit. I didn't really want to beat him up or anything, because that wouldn't have been fair. So I think I just threw him in the trash can for some reason. I believe it happened. But, it is what it is. Hey, once the dumpster closes, that memory's a wrap. Somebody asked what the number was. The number's on the screen, 833-284-3336. I'm gonna slap the shit out of Kemah. He gonna try to press charges on me like the dodgeball kid. But yeah, the dodgeball thing, man, that's extremely questionable, super suspect. Because I think you look at it, right? Again, that could be a case of extreme helicopter parenting. You're trying to shelter your kid from all the shit. Well, keep your kid out of anything physical. I mean, that's it, point blank, period. Because I think there are a lot of angles of it. It could be perceived as race. Like I said, I'm still, again, like I said, I try to use race as the last factor. But when you look at some of the other elements, I don't think it gets that serious. Even with the pressing charges, shouldn't you be more upset with the schoolhouse, on school grounds? Because I know schools, like, when I was young, I know it used to be a thing. They'd still be able to, if you were fighting on school property, so say we got in a fight at a football game, or even they would try to fucking say if they knew that you got in a fight like outside of school, like even if you were at home or something, they try to say that, oh well, we heard you got in a fight and you get in trouble. Like, man, kiss my fucking ass. But like, if you got in a fight on like school property or school events, even if it wasn't the actual school itself or district property or something like that, that you could get in trouble for it. So my thing is, why isn't she holding the school responsible as opposed to some kid who probably didn't know about the kid and he's fucking 10. They don't know anything about that. The kid that killed in the dumpster, it was a black child. Since apparently I'm a black hater, it's a black on black crime. So my thing is this. I'm a tri-ball guy. What you do? Get your ass out there with a tri-ball. Look, I had to slow down the pace because I was over there looking like the Michael Jordan, the tri-ball. You feel me? So I was just like, look, let me slow it up, so everybody else could have a chance to do what it do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, self-hating dumpster dropping of the children. So my thing is this. Oh yeah. I wouldn't fight the baby. This is what you gotta understand. With short people, you don't fight short people. You don't strike little people. Okay, people smaller than you, depending on you, there's like a range, But like the bagel guy, you don't strike the bagel guy. You just dispose of him properly, or you incapacitate him in some manner. And that's all I did with the other kid. Just tell him a bunch of shit. I don't want to beat the kid up. I didn't want to bloody him up. Just throw him in the trash can. Maybe something a little bit more embarrassing to just make them realize you have no power here. You lack the ability to win. So just give up or, go your own way. Because if I really wanted to hurt you, I could do some serious damage. So instead of just hurting you, I'll embarrass you a little bit, while you struggle to get out of the trash can. It's funny. I'll be honest, I think I remember throwing it and really walking. I don't even think I watched to see if he got out of the trash can or anything. I just remember, I think I it's one of the big gray trash cans, if I recall properly. Throwing the kid in one of the little trash cans and going on about my way. Shout out to Checkout Express, what's the motherfucking deal? So Hockey Moms in Massachusetts, bad dad. It's bad dad. You plunged a girl in the face with like actual plunge, or you use a hand check, if you will. So there's that. Kenneth, I know why you like Flight Reacts. I used to see Flight Reacts. I think when I first started doing YouTube, I would see like Flight Reacts videos. And I was like, why is this a thing? And they would have a little weed on it. And then he would bring that chick on. I guess he was trying to holler, but she wasn't fucking with him because he was like a super simp. And then now that he came up once he started getting some views and some shit like that. Next, he all inked up and now he flies. He used to do the real dusty. He used to have a little dusty ass fucking desk. It wasn't even like a desk. It was like a breakfast table stand. And then it'd just be a bunch of trash on that bitch. You know what I'm saying? What? They said the earth was flat. Oh, okay. And then it's been it's been a long time since I've seen it. Then I think the last time I seen it was, does that dude even make videos anymore? What was that dude's name? He was real corny. He used to be lying all the time. Fucking whack ass dude. The dude that was on like People's Court or some shit. Hood. He used to call himself Hood, but he was not Hood. Hockey sickness thing. That's tough. What was the dude? What was the dude? Hood or something? Hood Gaming TV. Yeah, the dude was like anti-hood and everything. But yeah. I think you should just be lying. That motherfucker be making up stories and shit. Does he still have a channel? Because I know like his shit he started trying to do some other shit too, and I think it started going bad for him. I don't remember how that whole thing worked. He used to do them fucking corny ass prank calls, and yeah, they used to be terrible. He got clapped. What you talking about? He got clapped by who? A round of applause. Because like I said, I know he was moving to some other channel because I know that the YouTube hit him with the band hammer, and then they put him out of YouTube. Wow, what happened? I know he got for some. I forgot what it was. It was something stupid. I know him and him and Flight had gotten into some beef or something because they were supposed to be cool. The Flight started acting like some hoe or some shit or some hoe shit. But you can tell Flight was actually a whole ass nigga. I can see why you like him, Kenneth. So, you know, getting back to where I was. That's funny. No, but that dude looks corny too. I've seen something with some shit of fuck some. I've only seen like one video, and it was like some of the wackest shit I've ever seen. But yeah, y'all like some weird shit like that's. I mean, if y'all like it, cool. But it's tough. But my thing is this, right? Getting back to helicopter parenting. Somebody needs to be a helicopter parent for Kenneth. Because he's going down the wrong path. He needs a helicopter coach. That's what he needs to keep him on point because he is out of there. No, I don't know who the rest of these motherfuckers are. I don't really pay attention to the rest of that shit. So you all. Gary's not a helicopter parent. I just helicopter around his mom's room. We get back to helicopter parenting and where it can go bad. I want to get back to the stage moms thing because some of that stuff is I think those are people who are living more vicariously. Like I think sports dads and certain sports moms too are really bad. Because the other day we talked about the ones who don't really do anything, and I think coaches deserve more credits than a lot of the others. Oh, that's super funny. That's super funny. That's funny. But I think like, you know, those kind who are pushing them towards a certain thing can be more problematic than, you know, those who, I think I have less of a problem with the ones who push them to be academic as compared to those who want them to be on the stage, to be in the limelight, to pushing them towards something where they have a slim chance of success, where the percentage is extremely low, i.e. athlete, model, singer. You know, how many of those parents would you think were helicopter parents that let their daughters go stay with R. Kelly, right? So what about that? Like, did they, what kind of helicopter parents are those? Are those like the helicopter parents that have a helicopter like Sosa's off of Scarface? You drop them off, it's hanging from a rope. But my thing is this, man. My thing is this, you know, I have no problem with those, and they're mostly Asian, the helicopter parents that push academics that are extremely stringent on the books. Yes, I have to make an Asian remark every show. It wouldn't be. So my thing is, I have no issues with that because again, but at the same time, I think that you can be too focused on academics because I think you do have to have some level of social life. You have to have some level of interaction. You have to develop other things. You can't just be 100% all books all the time. I think otherwise people will lose their shit, you know. Those are the ones who don't develop any social skills. They become incels. They're the smartest incels you know, but they have no interaction with people. And what good is all that knowledge if you have no one to share it with? But I guess you get rich and then buy people, you know. So there's that. So my thing is, what is this shirt? What is this shirt? What do you mean, what is this shirt? Never seen a hater in real life. You know, niggas like Kenneth, they be hating online, but you'll never see them niggas in real life. That's what that is. You see, I saw that. Y'all like that Superman? Never seen a hater in real life. Now you can be the opposite of what would be the opposite of a helicopter parent? Because then we were talking about what's worse, a helicopter parent or a parent who is maybe too lenient. Who you have these parents who think that the kids should be able to figure it all out and do whatever they want to. They want to let them make decisions at 2-3 years old when they don't realize that you don't put the fucking cube where the sphere goes. But yet you want to let these little motherfuckers make life decisions, right? Parents like female pimp. But like, would you rather be a female pimp parent or a helicopter parent? What's worse? What's better? You know, I think that this is important, right? I think that there needs to be a healthy balance, and that's kind of what we're getting back to. There should be a healthy balance, and what I mean by that healthy balance is you should motivate, you should inspire, you should want your kids to do a certain thing. And yes, if you want this shirt, you can go to denshowshop.com. Never see a hater in real life. Never see the female pimps and the Kenneth Colognes of the world in real life. But you know, the thing is that there should be a healthy push. I think like Miss Bell said, even when, you know, if you get your kids or something, even if they want out of it, I think you got to make them stay committed to, you know, whatever term that they, you know, have signed up for. I think that's very important. So, because if you start allowing your kids to quit things, it forms a bad habit. It feels like it just, you know, anything they start, well, I can just quit. And that is a terrible way to be. And I know this because I quit. I told you about the fucking coach I had. He was a terrible coach anyway. The coach I had my freshman year, and this guy was lopsided, couldn't even make layups. He was a terrible, terrible coach. He was a cute dog, had powdered donuts feet, would wear fucking sandals. Like, how are you gonna coach somebody on how to fucking play basketball? You wearing fucking Jesus shoes on the court. Anyway, you know, so my thing is, you know, we had some words back and forth, and you know, I guess because everybody else, I just didn't like the dude. Like, everybody else was scared of the nigga for some reason. Like, you know, there was one other little nigga. He told that nigga, he got crunk with that nigga one time. He was like, shit, just make me do it then. This motherfucker would just talk shit. He'd be karate. I told you, he'd be karate kicking niggas and doing all kind of weird shit. Kicking at motherfuckers and shit. Teach us how to fucking play basketball instead of your fucking broke ass Bruce Lee antics. And so this nigga said one day, like, and I guess it was more of a pride thing than anything, because at that time, like I said, I was dating a white chick, and he made a comment about something, and I don't know if he saw me outside of class, and he said something, and I forgot what I went and did, and he said, oh yeah, you know, I seen you with your little girlfriend and something, and you know, you gonna make sure you gonna be somewhere. He said. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be there. I bet that. And so didn't go. Like, I'm not finna show up. And so he made another comment. Oh, I bet you know you do this and this, or else, you know. And so I didn't go. But what's super funny though is because, like I said, I quit and I ain't really give a shit because the team was bad anyway. He was a terrible coach. But the head coach, like the head basketball coach, you know, he let me back on the team to do whatever I want to. But my thing was, I didn't really want to be on a team. And when we moved up to varsity, I didn't even want to play on fucking varsity. Because the whole ass shit about that fucking, I was averaging 20 points a game, but you had so many fucking ball hogs on that fucking team. It was just like, man, I'd rather go back down to JV and play with the niggas I actually like hoop with on a regular than playing with motherfuckers. Like, because the team was so bad. Like, the JV team was good, but the fucking varsity team was so bad, like, niggas just went to varsity, like they would sit there and say, I'm gonna see how many shots I can take this game. Like, literally, that would be the intention of how many shots can I take this fucking game. And so, like I said, once they moved me up to varsity, because it was a fucking game. I forgot, I want to say it was against, I forgot who we played against. But I went off that fucking game, and then everybody was like, man, nigga, you went off, they're gonna put you on varsity. I'm like, I don't want to play on varsity. And I'm in the middle of class and get a fucking phone call to go down to the fucking coach's office. And he's like, yeah, baby, you know, we got a tournament. You talk like fucking Dick Vitale, like no bullshit. Yeah, baby, we're gonna put you on the varsity, man. You know, you played real good the other day. I was like, man, I don't want to be on varsity, coach. Like, I don't like them niggas. I don't want to play with them niggas. Well, you know, it's my program, man. You're gonna be on varsity or you're not gonna play. I was like, man, this is some bullshit. You know what I mean? So after that, I played a few games of ours, and I was like, fuck it, no, I'm not gonna play no more. And so there was that. But yeah, once you start something and you allow an outlet to quit, I know I went way far left in this story. Once you allow that outlet and you allow people to quit, and they'll always look for that outlet. So I commend Miss Bell because she didn't allow that. You know, she made the kids stay committed to the program, and then they end up wanting to come back. So that's respectable. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this evening, afternoon, whatever?
Ashley.
Ashley. Hello, Ashley. How are you doing today, Ashley?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am excellent, Miss Ashley. What are your thoughts on helicopter parents and helicopter parenting?
I think it can be good and bad. Like, it's good to know what your kids are doing and to stay on top of them, but usually kids with parents like that are super sneaky.
Did you have helicopter parents?
Yeah.
Were you super sneaky?
Kind of, but not really. It's not like I was out doing sex, but yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if you've seen the story we were talking about earlier with LeBron and him having a good time at his game and at his son's game. I'm sorry. And people were saying he was doing too much. He was taking the attention off the kid because he was celebrating, his son having a good game. Do you think there's anything wrong with that?
With celebrating?
But yeah, he was celebrating. It was a little. I won't say it was over the top, but it's nothing that you haven't seen people do before for people who aren't even their kids. But he was happy that his son was playing well. Do you think that there's anything wrong with that?
No, because I'm sure there's like a video of my family acting an ass for one of our kids. So, I mean, I understand it.
Okay. So when do you think that is it good to be a helicopter parent in certain aspects, or to be attentive to your children, or do you think that there's a line where it goes overboard?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good just because kids can get into a lot of trouble, like if they're just like latchkey and doing whatever they want, and you just say, oh, okay, you can do what you want. You're a young adult. Like those type of kids, they get into all type of trouble. But like knowing what your kid is doing, who they're hanging out with, and whose house they're going over, who's going to be there, like I think those are all good things, and parents should do that.
So do you think that helicopter parents have better relationships with their children, or do you think they're worse?
No.
Or does it depend?
No, because the kids probably aren't as open with them.
Okay.
But I don't think kids necessarily need to be like totally open with their parents.
Really? Why not?
Because they're separate people. Like they should have some private things.
But I mean, shouldn't they be able to come and rely on their parents when they have, maybe personal issues? Would you rather a kid go rely on a school-age friend or their parents when it comes to, life advice?
Probably their parents, obviously. But just like dating and stuff, like I know kids date like super young and stuff like that now, but like, when I was a kid, that was like weird if you had a boyfriend and stuff, and when you were like 10 or 11, like that's how young these kids are dating these days.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. So how old were you when you had your first boyfriend?
Like what type of boyfriend? Like I dated, but never like I didn't kiss anybody until I had my first husband. I didn't do any of that.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Like even then, I would never even kiss him like that because he's disgusting.
Okay. And so why did you wait so long? Was it religious views that kept you from engaging in these behaviors?
It was more just like my parents. Like I wasn't allowed to date. I wasn't allowed to like talk to guys like that.
Okay. That's interesting. So since you were kind of restricted, did that make you more
Yeah.
eager to get with a man, or whenever you had the opportunity, did that change your views? Like, were you feeling like you were missing out on something?
No, because I was allowed to like hang out with my friends, and I had this one friend. Like the first time, my mom actually let me like hang out with somebody outside of my house. I had gone with her boyfriend, and we were like 13. So I went with her to her boyfriend, and she was like kissing all up on him, and that was just disgusting to me. I wasn't into that.
Okay. Not into the lip locking. Okay. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Has that changed for you? Are you still a non kisser?
Me?
Yes.
I mean, if the sex is good, but I don't just like kiss somebody just to kiss somebody. That's disgusting.
I understand that. I'm not big on that shit myself. Okay. And no, Kenneth, I'm not checking anything you send me in the DM. I know what kind of weird shit you send in the DMs, Kenneth, and it's questionable at best. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's Kenneth sends queer stuff. Um, so, have you ever seen a situation where helicopter parenting has gone wrong or gone right?
Gone wrong? Yeah, like I had this one friend, like her parents were super on top of her. She was like super religious. I think she was like I don't whatever religion they are where they can only wear skirts, but not like a Mormon. I think it was like
I don't know what is it. Is that Pentecostal or something?
what is it? Like
I don't
I
know.
don't know what it is. Anyways, she was in one of those groups, and she was like out having sex. Like she would act like she's at somebody's house, and she would like go through making sure that all her bases were covered. Like I think it just makes you so much more sneaky. Like, okay, I'm going to tell my mom I'm at this place, and I know she's going to ask who's over there, and I know she's going to ask how long, so I'm going to make sure I do my dirt in this amount of time before she gets back. Like she was so sneaky, and she
Yeah,
was the biggest spot.
the biggest.
Hmm?
Yeah, those
She
church
was
girls, those church girls, you got to watch out for.
definitely,
Okay.
but a good example, like lots of African parents, they're helicopter parents. Like they go through their parents, their kids' stuff, like their cell phones when they're sleeping, and those kids are usually good in school and not out being bad.
I agree. Uh, and so I mean, I think that there's a healthy level of examining, and there's certain things you got to know because again, like I said, you just never like it only takes one time for your kids to get caught up in the wrong thing. It only takes that one opportunity. So I have no issue with with helicopter pay, but I think that trying before going overboard, I think that having a healthy relationship, and what I mean is conversation, but you do have to set the standard that I am the parent, you are the child, but I'm here to help you, not just to command you. I want to help you grow and become a better person. And I think once that understanding is kind of there, then I think everything else will kind of fall in line. Some kids may need a little bit more supervision. Some of them, you can count on to do the right thing. I don't trust any of them. I think all kids are liars, so that's just my belief. So, okay. So, do you think that, like, are you familiar with LeVar Ball?
Yes.
Do you think he's a helicopter parent?
I think so. He's pretty, or he just seems involved. I don't think he's like, he doesn't seem like he's too pushy.
Mm-hmm.
Because his kid dropped out very young. Like, he couldn't have been that. Well, I mean, but I guess there's different levels in what you see is important as a parent. I'm sure it's ball, basketball.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. And so, do you think? I mean, because I think sometimes people get it mixed up because I think some parents are perceived one way, but they're, I won't say overprotective in the sense of they don't let their kids do anything, but I think overprotective, they protect their kids from society. That's kind of how I see more LeVar Ball. Like, I don't think his kids are overly restricted. I think they're pretty much allowed to kind of be who they are. But when it comes to defending his children, I think he's not going to let anybody, just handle his kids any certain way. And I think people look at that and say, oh, he's overprotective or he's doing it. No, I think he's just very defensive of, his family. And I don't think anything's wrong with that. But I think people kind of misconstrue it sometimes. And obviously he's doing something right if all three, well, the other one may not go to college, but he's going to get paid to play basketball at some point. But all three of them have done, fairly well in their sports. Only that one went to jail because he's a dumbass. But it doesn't count because it wasn't here in America. So, but outside of that, in America, they've been fairly good children.
Yeah. But my dad was like that. Like I could tell him anything. Like, even to this day, I could make up something, and he'd be like, "Oh no, I'm coming right down there and handling it." Like, my dad is just like that. It's so annoying.
Okay. All right. So you think that at certain points you got to let kids handle their own problems?
Oh yeah. But it's nice to know that, like, somebody will always be there to give you guidance or handle it if you can't.
Okay. All right. I don't know. Anything else that you would like to add to, the conversation? Anything that you think on helicopter parents? How do you feel about stage moms?
About what?
Stage moms, the little that put their daughters in those shows and shit. I forgot what you call them. I can't even think what they call right now. But
A little beauty pageant.
Yeah, beauty pageants. That's right. Yes.
I think those people are disgusting. Like, who would actually want to look at that besides a pervert?
Correct. I think they are perverts.
That's it.
I agree. I do think it's perverted. Okay. And were you ever in beauty pageants? Did your parents ever try to push that on you?
No. Yeah, I did, no, not beauty pageants. I was just in, the Jack and Jill program. And, that's the only thing.
You were sedated. So that explains a lot.
Can you do that? I just have to drop that in there.
Yes, I see that. Sedity. Okay, you one of those. I see. It explains a lot. No, I'm just fucking with you. Nothing wrong with that. I wish we had more folks who were of that caliber. But that's another conversation for another day. We should definitely talk about some things like that. Okay, Miss Ashley. Well, anything else that you would like to add?
No thanks.
Okay. Well, I will be depositing some pistachios in your pistachio stash. I appreciate you calling in.
All right. Well, thanks for taking my call.
All right. We got to go.
Thanks.
Look at y'all in these cults. A bunch of cults. I'm talking about cult leaders, and somebody told me the Den was a cult. I didn't believe it. I don't think so. I think I'm not trying to convince y'all to think anything. I enjoy. It's like a reverse cult. All of your thoughts and impressions get pushed upon me instead of me trying to push it on y'all. It's all ass back. Yes, this is going to be good. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in to the Den this afternoon?
This is the one and only, the original OG, Miss Bell. That is my title.
Uh-oh.
But tell her she can have it if she wants, because I have a son almost Miss Bell's age.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so she can have the title. It's all good. I love her anyway. But what was I going to say? Yeah, I woke up in the middle of the night, and you would hit me. Oh my God! I woke up and the Den is still on. I got up, took my retainers out, brushed my teeth, came back, and you were gone off.
Yeah. I was kind of. I'm trying to be more on time. I got to be better with my time management. So yeah, I was trying to stick to the rule, because I think I saw a call come in towards the end, and I was just like, well, I gotta be. I told myself I have to be more stringent with my time so that I can allocate everything properly throughout the day.
And I was proud of you for that, because I want you to get your rest, because rest is important. I said, oh, he's good, because I'm already noticing the difference.
Okay.
You mean, and you're more energetic, more up and about. You know, you're not dragging. You know, rest is important. So I just stayed up. I stayed up for the next couple of hours looking up Al Sharpton's age and Elijah Cummings' age. Al Sharpton's 65. That's it. Elijah Cummings like 68. That's it. And they're going to go up against the Donald, who is 72. That's putting them to shame. Our black people need to stop with that black don't crack, because yes, it does. It does too.
That looks terrible. That's terrible. I thought they were way older than that.
Oh, they look terrible. That's correct. They're more my age. You know, Honcho, you know I ain't going there. I'd rather go to it. If God comes down and says, look, Miss Grace, I'm going to make it so that you can have babies again, but you have to procreate with one of those guys, I'm going to have to say, sorry, God, cannot do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. The world's just going to come to a total end. That's all to it. Okay. The other thing, helicopter parent, I never really heard. I think I might have heard mention of a little bit, but there is another psychological term that they use called a zookeeper mom or a zookeeper parent. Have you ever heard of that one?
No, I've never heard of that. No,
yeah, the zookeeper parents are the ones, they merely provide food, shelter, clothing, and they think that they're a great parent because they just do those three things. They're not involved in their kids' lives. They don't know where their kids are at. They don't watch. They don't talk. They don't go to open house. They don't go to PTAs. None of those things. They merely provide food, shelter, clothing. So that is a real psychological term. It's called a zookeeper parent, a zookeeper mom. You can ask me anything because I'm kind of tired after I was up in the middle of the night, and tomorrow is my last day of work. Everybody, I don't know if they know that Miss Grace is a retiree, and I am not with this getting up in the morning and rushing out the door. I'm over it now.
Okay. Well, yeah, and I did want to hear from you, Liza, because we were talking about the schools. Where does the school's responsibility, and where does the parents' responsibility go, and then where does the school's responsibility start? And kind of on the aspect of not just the education, but like say teachers or educators see that something's not right in the home. When should educators get involved with a situation like that?
Well, you know, first of all, the parents' responsibility, if they send a kid to us that is disciplined, has limitations, guidelines, manners, can read already, that kid, we can move mountains with that kid. The problem is too many kids are being sent to us that don't have guidance or limitations, and they think they're grown and they think they're our equals, and they're disrupting the entire classes and things. So if they send them to us right, then we can build upon that. But if the kid doesn't have a good home environment, we provide, besides just academia, also my classrooms and some other teachers, my classroom is also would always be a safe haven that would replicate a home environment. So that the kids that already had a good home environment, well, they will continue to do so. And the ones that don't have a good home environment, well, they're safe and they have it here. The name of the game is that you want to get kids to want to come to school and enjoy it. Because if I'm happy, I'm a better teacher. If they're happy, then they're much better students. And it's as simple as that. Like my summer school, one little girl, she comes once a week. Yes, there was a day. She said she's coming tomorrow. She told me, yes, I'm coming tomorrow. She likes it. She wants to come. They want to come to school. Kids want to come to school, and I tell them because I want to have a good time. Because if I can't have a good time, I don't want to be here. But you must learn at the same time, because learning can be fun, But I said that school thing is a whole other realm that I can get into at some other time. But I wanted to talk something more about raising kids and being helicopter moms. I was a little bit of that, I think. With my son, being a single parent, he played football, pee-wee football, college football, all of that. And I looked at the coaches and things as almost like the male figure. But today, if coaches call boys a pussy or anything, they get in trouble. They get reprimanded. The parents complain about them. I didn't care. Those guys could reprimand those boys or my son any way they saw. They can call them any kind of names. It was the name of the game, and I accepted it, even if I was standing on the sidelines or up in the, the bleachers. But now they can't do that anymore. And then when I had the girl, it was a little bit different because she's my human Barbie doll. And my mother said she's spoiled, but no, not spoiled. She does what she's supposed to do. Both of my kids, they're hardworking kids. Did they go and get all of the degrees that I did? No, they did not. but she at least has an associate's degree. You know what I mean? And she's hard working and she does volunteer work. You know, my daughter is kind of spoiled. You mean I will push my kids and I allow them to make their own mistakes. And as long, and two, also they can fall. As long as the fall isn't too detrimental to the point that they can't recover, or it takes too long for them to recover, that their lives would be altered in a negative way for a long time. That's where you draw the line at. Some people say let them fall all the way down and just leave them. Yeah, they can fall. Both of them can fall. You mean? But they're not. I'm not going to stand back and let my kids stay down. And I know in the future that it's going to be extremely hard for them. That's not happening. You mean I live for them. You know, and so her punishment is that sometimes she can't go on as many vacations with me, and that's it. But that's my girl.
That's cool.
You know, that is my girl. She'll tell you, my mother's it. You know what I mean? That is my girl. And my son, when he was younger, I knew that they had this, they started talking about engineers. I didn't know what an engineer was. I mean, I dated a couple of engineers later on, but at that time I didn't. So I used to take him to these little black seminars where young men would talk to their little black boys about becoming engineers. My son went to college. He didn't want to do that. So he's in California, and he works for some shows and does some producing and some writing. But he did say to me one time, Mommy, if you didn't push me into engineering and just let me get into acting and doing all this stuff, I would have gone further. Don't blame me on that. Shut the hell up. I don't want to hear that. Don't blame me for that. You know, absolutely not. But that's it. You know what I mean? And my daughter's like me, minus the rough around the edges. You mean, and all we can do as parents, we can plant seeds and we can water and we can nourish, but you just don't hand over the whole garden. You mean, because they have to learn how to do some of that for themselves. And then the girl also, like I said, much more challenging. My mother wanted us all to be boys. She wanted to go to the vocational school. I worked for the public school. She was having a bit more fun. She was in automotive. You know what I mean? She was passing with C's and B's, doing very little, because my kids are smart. I think smarter than me in a lot of ways. And then it was the last quarter. Something happened. I didn't like the grades, and I went to the open house, and the teachers would just say, oh, yeah, they're nice, but they're very talkative. Well, they came by. They didn't pick that up off the ground. You know what I mean? But she's not supposed to be in there talking. So my son said, Mommy, you can't change what's the saying? You can't change something in the last inning or whatever. I said, watch me now. So it was the last quarter. I pulled her out of vocational, and I put her in the high school in the system that I worked for. So if she tried to do anything sneaky or wrong, they would tell me I could keep a better watch on her because we're like a big family. You know, and she did try something sneaky. She had gone to the guidance counselor, and she found out that there was a piece of paper that you could sign. Did I tell you this before?
I don't think so.
There's a piece of paper that you could sign, you know, once you became of age, and your parent doesn't have to, you can't ask any questions about you. They don't have to sign your report card, none of that stuff. So her guidance counselor was this guy that was gone up with a guidance counselor at the school that I worked out. So Miss Ainsley called me down to her office. She says, Kathy, she says, Marlo went to guidance. Don, my boyfriend Don, just called and said, this is what happened. I said, oh, really? You know, but he sat there and talked to her that she forgot to sign the paper.
Yeah.
So when I got home, I talked with my boys, my foster son and my son. I said, did you kids know that existed? And my son said, yeah. I said, why would she want to do that? And my son said, because girls are sneaky. And my boys say that. They said every female can be put in one of two categories, dumb or sneaky. He said she asked to do something like that because she was planning on being sneaky. Yeah, but she wanted that piece of paper. You mean? And so I couldn't ask any questions or anything about her, but she neglected to sign it. And she was angry with me at that time because I put her, the last quarter, she was in New Bedford High School, and she graduated from there. And she was angry, but she got over it. She knows that I was strict, but she's glad now that I was. And when I listen to the things that she says and does with her daughter, and I'm like, good, yes, she got it. Being more strict with NOLA, you know what I mean, and setting guidelines, and she's very involved in things like that. You know, so lots of times as we get older, I thought my mother was too strict. Well, then I hear myself and her. We look in the mirror, and there our mother is. My daughter, I know when she looks in the mirror, there I am. You know what I mean? So the most important things, like I said, they didn't get all of the degrees that I did and things like that there. And you know what? And they're not going to go without. Absolutely not. I'm their mother, you know what I mean, and I work for them. You know what I mean? And I'm going to continue to do so. I don't care who has anything to say about it. You know what I mean? But the number one thing is I want to know that I raised good human beings, and that's what they are. That's the number one thing, to make sure that they're good human beings. They wouldn't hurt anybody. You know what I mean? They're just good people. You know what I mean? They're hardworking. You know what I mean? They're fair. You know what I mean? And that's the number one thing, and I am extremely proud of them. My kids are my trophies. My babies are my genetic masterpieces. You know what I mean? And I would do anything for them. You know? But that's about it, because I can't talk too much. I was so tired. It's hot today, and one of my kids was acting up. And then I just ran. My para was talking about some special kind of tea that she liked. So tomorrow's the last day. So I went to the Down to Earth health food store and got her the tea. And then this other little boy that's very autistic, he loves to hold the door. So I have to run down the street and pick him up a McDonald's gift card so that I can give that to him tomorrow, because it's the last day. And I love those babies, but it's my last day. I'm done with them. They can go home and drive their parents crazy.
Those are the good things that you just like to hear. So there are still lots of quality educators out there, folks. Don't take everything that they put in the news. They put the bad stuff in the news. There's a lot of good Miss Graces out there. So shout out to Miss Grace.
That's right. Thank you so much. Like I do, it's in my blood. I'm retired, but I'm still involved because I can't stop. You know what I mean? And even doing the summer school, it's like, should I get back into this? Nope, Kathy, don't do it. You know what I mean? It's in my blood. You know what I mean? And college didn't teach me to become a teacher. You know what I mean? It was a gift that God gave to me, and college was just the way to help me get the piece of paper to get through those gates to do what I needed to do for these babies, because I do. I fall in love, you know what I mean, with my kids. You know what I mean? One little boy, he was upset because his bike got stolen. So I said, okay, let's see what we can do about that. I said, you didn't have a lock on your bike? I said, Miss Grace has this lock with a little key. You know what I mean? And when he, like the other day, he said his mother had died. He lives with his brother and his father, and that's it. So I have to see, can we get this kid a bike? Once I find all the circumstances behind it, you know, and you give him a little lock, because he will only work if I go and sit down next to him. One more thing, one of my kids years back was, I was getting dressed for work. And when I was at the middle school, and I was watching the news, and a stabbing took place. Someone was murdered not too far from me. And I'm getting dressed, and I'm looking in the camera, because he was a minor, you know what I mean? The camera focused in on the kid's hand with the handcuffs, and I sat on the bed, and I'm like, my God, that's my kid. And I called my daughter, and I said, that's my kid. How do you know? Because I work so closely with them, I know every vein in their little hands. I know what their little hands look like. And it was him. So I had to give his mother a ride. All the people at the jail, all the kids at the jail wanted to see who his teacher was. You know what I mean? To go, and the lawyer came to the house. You know what I mean? I had to go to court because I had this kid 2 years in a row, 7th and 8th grade, and taught him English and social studies. You know what I mean? But yeah, he did. He filleted a kid and killed him. You know what I mean? But he ended up doing 10 years. You know what I mean? So I've had kids that murdered. You know what I mean? And throw someone in the dumpster. But I loved them anyway. They were good to me. But it was weird because I knew his hands. So with the little boy I was working with today, I said, you don't want to do, you just want Miss Grace to come sit with you, right? He said, yeah. So I went and sat next to him. I said, okay, do another one. And I'm looking at his little hands. You know what I mean? You just know their hands. You know, but I'm going to get off. But shout out to Rashida, still trying to finagle some more pistachios so she can sit there and buy votes. You know what I mean? Miss Bell, I sent you the picture of the parents in the teacher's room. They were learning about the den. They got to hear Miss Bell. You know, and she mentioned my name. I told them all about you. I told them about Rashida. I told them about Shannon. I told them about I said, and then there's one named this one, and that one, the other one. So one of the parents sat there. I don't know what to do. So I'm showing her how to subscribe. Yeah. And I said, the best thing ever. So and that's why I sent you the picture. I said, you ladies mind if I take a picture of you? And then the one from Cabo Verde, I was telling them about our people, and I said, Ivana, how many languages do you speak? And she's real quiet and sweet. That's the Mexican one that you see in the background there. She said 5. And the other girls were saying, what? And then she named them all. I said, I told Honcho, I said, anybody that comes from over there speaks at least 4 languages. And if they speak only 3, that's one of the dumb ones. I said he laughed. Yeah, but they were really intrigued with looking at you. I said, "Isn't he beautiful? Look at him." They were. We were like cracking up. I said, "I got up in the middle of the night. Honcho couldn't even take my call, and so he left me up, sitting there researching things and looking at people's ages."
Well, yeah, that's crazy about the Al Sharpton thing. Well, I thought he was. That's tough. Alien head Al. That's a whole tough situation. But Miss Grace, you know we love it. We love when Miss Grace calls in. I particularly enjoy it, and I think the rest of the Den folk do too, because like I say, you just share so much with us, and just the things that you're doing for those kids out there. I think that's awesome. I think that we need more teachers like that.
And shout out to Heidi. Heidi always says nice things to me. She says some funny stuff in there, but she always says things to me. Okay?
All right.
Let me get off this phone, my dear.
All right, Miss Grace. Thank you for calling in.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. Now, I think Heidi's a terrible person, personally, but welcome anybody who may have been listening that has been introduced by Miss Grace. We're all friends in the Den. Don't take anything anybody says too seriously. DeMarkey is kind of soft. I saw the statement from Big M. Heidi's not that quick. All right, this will probably be, depending on the length of this call, this will probably be our last call of the day. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the Den this evening? Afternoon. Yes. She put the sweet voice on y'all and everything. Oh, I had you roaming. No, y'all ain't even here. All right. My fault. They did not hear your introduction. Would you like to reintroduce yourself?
Hey, this is Rashida. How y'all doing today?
Okay. So what's on your mind, Miss Rashida? How are you feeling about helicopter parenting? Do you think it's good, it's bad, it's a negative, it's a plus?
Well, I don't have any kids, but I think I would be somewhere in the middle. I want to make sure that things are right, but at the same time, give them some independence to make their own decisions as well. I mean, growing up, my parents were really my stepfather. He was strict and couldn't do too much of nothing. Had to pretty much be a homebody now. And I wish I could say I thank him for that, but I don't, because I feel like that kind of sheltered me from things that I should have been, knowing about people and things. I probably wouldn't have been so susceptible to people and their bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I was real naive, just, hey, think everybody, is out for your good, and I couldn't really distinguish, people that was using me and people that was, deaf. It was just, it was a mess. So.
Okay. But do you think that it could have been a flip side of that too? If they may have been more, if you had more freedom, that it could have been, a negative to that. I mean, aside from that,
If it was done out of love, that would have been good. And it was done out of control. So that's when I think it's a problem. And the thing with the stage parents is they using their kids for a meal ticket. So I think some of that helicopter parenting is more for their own benefit, trying to secure their bag for their future more so than the child. Because the parents are the ones that's in control of the money they making from the kids, more so than the kids.
So, what do you think about like the parents that push their kids to be in entertainment, sports, and stage, like things like that? You think that it's more about themselves? What do you think about the parents, like say the Savages, for example? Do you think that they were helicopter parents, or they were just parents looking for a way to secure some money from their child's talent?
I think that they probably was trying to do both. They looking out for their future and they looking out for their child future. But I think anytime you create a good work ethic in a child, that's a good thing. But I feel like with Michael Jackson's father, there was abuse. He made them do this, hours and hours of dancing and all that singing and stuff like that. So I think there is, certain boundaries to it.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was thinking about that before the stream, and I was trying to think like, who was the other one I was gonna mention? I could not think of it for shit, but yes, Joe Jackson. Hey man, look, Jack, Joe Jackson whooped them motherfuckers famous. Joe Jackson whooped their ass into the greatest of all times. Legends. Look, if that's what it's gonna take, look, hey, I'm finna start. Let me break out the belt right now. I ain't mad at Joe.
They could really take that though.
I don't know. Who else would you say would be comparable to say like a Michael Jackson, and then comparing their childhood growing up, and then maybe look at and see what got them there.
I would say like probably Beyonce pop but to this day she still work hard. You know what I'm saying? She still do a lot of things and everything.
So do you think that he pushed her? Do you think that she just had it in her? Or do you think that there was some level of hands-on encouragement to her doing what she's doing?
Yeah, I definitely think it was hands on. Oh, Serena Williams' father and Venus Williams' father. Now we know he worked them girls to the bone. But at the same time, that helped propel them out the ghetto. So it's like if he hadn't pushed them, would they have done it? If he hadn't got them involved in tennis, where would they be?
Exactly.
So, like I said, it's a good and a bad to it. So.
Because even with I think the punishment, or I mean not necessarily the punishment, but you got to think about it too. This is a person, regardless of the way you may perceive it. Mm-hmm. Even the fathers who got involved, they're dedicating their time to something too. And again, you could have a father who is dedicating his time to pushing you to be motivated for greatness, and then by the time you get there, it's just instilled in you. Anything you face after that is not as intense, or you decide. Or you could have a parent who don't ever show up to any of your games, don't ever be there, and really has no contribution to your success. Which is better, and which is worse?
I always think it's better if the parent is involved, but to a certain extent, you know what I'm saying? Like, instill a good work ethic, but at the same time, you need to instill the ability for them to be able to make. You need to instill the knowledge in them to be able to make good decision when you're not there, because you're not gonna always be there to make every decision for them.
And I don't know, like I said, I like to think that for the most part that you haven't really heard of any issues with the.
You only get one childhood. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. People are losing. In a way, I feel like they lose in their childhood. They're not out there just being carefree. You only get that time once in your life. You can't go backwards. You know what I'm saying? So, let's see, the thing I think about is, do the ends justify the means? It's like they sacrificing their childhood, but they become successful in the end, which you actually live longer as an adult than you do as a child. So, I don't know.
Because think about it, you've had lots of people who've had what you could say are wonderful childhoods, and then they never grow out of that. They remain children basically their whole lives because they didn't have the discipline or the foundation. They remain dependent, in their whole lives because they didn't have discipline or foundation. They were raised a certain way. But then you have those people who, they may have had it tough. They may have had to work for their childhood through their childhood, but then they become successful and they live lives that other people only get to imagine. You know what I mean? And so I think, where's the trade-off? Is it worth it? Is it worthwhile? Because then you get to have that freedom as an adult. I can go where I want. I can do what I want. I can buy anything I want.
Right.
As opposed to, well, hey, my childhood was cool, but now I got to figure out how I'm gonna pay this rent this month, and I got to figure out how I'm gonna, get this car fixed, or or whatever. So, and I'm not saying everybody's gonna struggle just because they had a good childhood, but you got to think about what is the trade off, and is it worthwhile? And I think that, hey, if you have a little bit of a tough childhood, and again, I can agree with you that depending on who you're around, who you're dealing with, it can be hard to decipher who has your best intentions and who is has malicious intent for you. But especially once the parents are no longer involved or whatever happens after that, because it's a lot of conniving shit going on. You look at some of these Disney kids and things like that. But in the end, I think if properly taught and not just forced into entertainment or whatever skill you have, but there's a full spectrum of education. So you teach them social skills, people skills, and all those other things. I think it needs to go along with it.
That's what I was talking about. What you just said right there, social skills. I think when you show to the kids, you stop them from having good social skills because they don't know how to really interact with people and perceive things from people. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, and I think that's an important element because you have to deal with people in society, so you definitely have to develop those. Okay.
But in the end, I think I would rather have a better adulthood. Even my childhood was shitty, so
Because at least when you're an adult, you get to make all the decisions on your own. Then, I mean, when you're a child, you still have a limited range of what you can do.
Exactly. So hey, it is what it is.
All right. All right. I don't know. Is there anything else that you would like to add to the topic, helicopter parents, or anything like that?
No, I think we had some great calls. Miss Bill, of course, kicked it off, and Kate Grace. You always doing a good time. So yeah, and don't forget Low Last Street to get 200 pistachios. Hey, I need a theme song or something for my
A theme song. Oh, good.
Yeah, anybody out there want to write me a theme song and pay them 1,000 pistachios? I need a theme rap for my campaign.
I'll be rapping for pistachios. I can't believe. Let me make sure everybody getting they dues and they paid.
Yeah, I think my time today was more than 1,000, so I'm gonna need you to up that.
I would negotiate call values. Like, what is going on? I don't know about this.
I thought you said it was Women Wednesday. Don't we supposed to get more pistachios for calling in?
No, what? There's no. I mean, it's equal pay in the den. We don't operate like that. Hey, y'all might get booed. I got to decide. Depends on, like I said, I got to see what's going on with these debates tonight. I might have to boot. I might have to boot Women Wednesday to Female Friday or something. I don't know. We gonna have to see. Depending on what happened with these debates, I got to catch up with something. I got to do some other things.
You gotta make sure you count all my votes, because I swear I think you missing some of my votes.
Man, what we gonna do? Like I said, we'll make sure to double check, and I'll make sure to correspond all the votes that I have marked down for the proper votees go along with their where they're supposed to go. So I will double check and make sure all the votes are allocated appropriately. And for those of you who have not voted for your favorite moderator, you can vote in the chat, because Saturday will be the last of the votes that we're taking. You can vote in the chat. You can send a text message. You can contact via one of the social medias that popped up a second ago on the den if you want to, place your vote for your favorite moderator. We will stop taking votes on Saturday, and Sunday we will announce the favorite moderator, and then we will announce another category to nominate folks for. So, okay. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. But yeah, I didn't get a men bonus pistachios on Man Monday, so no Women Wednesday bonus pistachios. Maybe next week.
You know what? Every time I talk about giving you some pistachio, you always say no. But when other people call in and talk about they want some extra pistachio. And you be like, okay, let me keep it on in for you. I don't think that's fair.
Who do I give? Who asked for extra pistachios that I hook up? Miss
It was
Bell.
one guy from New York or Detroit or some called in talking about that you get somebody 25 pistachio and you just, I think that's a good idea. Let me give it to him.
But they had to execute an extra task for those extra pistachios because because that gentleman has called in and I've never allocated his pistachios because I don't know his screen name.
You just don't want
No.
me to.
See, but see, no. Because see, that's John. I've never given John any pistachios because I don't know what his screen name is. So he had a stash of pistachios. And he felt like since he took the title of favorite New Yorker from only one lie, that he would allocate that.
Pistachio. You right. You surely is right.
You know what, Big M? Let me check your. Oh, that's what I'll do. I'll check your account, your pistachio account, Big M, and I will allocate all of your pistachios to her account. Will that work for you? You let me know. You let me know if that works for you. If that works for you, then that's what I'll do. Big M. I will give Rashida all of your pistachios. If you need to check your pistachio balance, just put exclamation point pistachio so we can see how many you got, and I will give Rashida all of your pistachios. That's all you got to do. Just let me know. All you got to do is let me know yay or nay. I got you. Miss Bell points out the fact that the raffle is not working.
And then you cheated on my pistachios the other day when you was late. And see, he don't want me to have the pistachio because he don't want me to win the race, y'all. But y'all gonna vote for me anyway.
This is tough.
He got his favorite that he wants to win. That's what's really important.
No, I got it. I can't believe this is. I've been accused of biases.
Right, it's bias, vote rigging, vote deleting, everything going on this race.
Favoritism.
That y'all don't even know about. Miss Bill, I hope you out there, you still listening because you see what's going on.
I don't believe any of these things are accurate.
All of these things are true.
I think these are all false allegations.
They allegations.
False allegations against my character. I cannot believe such. I don't even know.
You know.
Let me fix all this right now. I'm double checking now. Let me see what we got going on. You got campaign managers and shit and all that other stuff. That's what I'm saying. There ain't nobody even campaigning like that. And
Big M said, I can have his pistachios if I shut up. Okay, I shut up there. You ain't doing nothing. Not telling me to shut up. You gonna give me all your pistachios? Shit.
How many pistachios Big M got?
You hurt my feelings. Shit.
Let's see. Okay, little 3 racks. Okay. All right, well that's a bet. All right, Mr. Rashida. Well, I will allocate you Big M's pistachios. I am examining the votes now.
Yeah, I think you got a new here. I'm gonna best mine, so you can go cash and vote for my shit.
You said who is the best mod? Who does it? No, it's not even best mod. It's favorite mod. So it's opinionated. So you have the choice of picking who you like the best. That's kind of how it works. So if you have a personal preference of a moderator because you maybe like the way that they moderate or whatever it is they do or don't do, you have the choice to choose whoever you like. I can't tell you.
Like this campaign is rigged. It's rigged. So
I cannot tell you the criteria because you're entitled to use whatever you choose to nominate your favorite. I can't tell you why something is your favorite. So that's why I make sure the wording is proper. Not best mod, but favorite mod. So there's that.
Did you cover everything on the top? Did I cover everything on the top? Because I got way off track.
Yes, I believe you've covered everything on the topic.
Or you just saying this to get me off the phone?
You talked about parenting. You talked about stage parents. You gave us an example from your childhood and why you would look at it a certain way. You insulted Joe Jackson. I can't believe you slandered a king like that. And then you campaigned a little bit. So unless there's something else that you want to cover, I don't know. See, I'm taking notes and everything. So you thought I wasn't on the notes today. See, I'm on top of that. Look. And I had to allocate and make sure that the votes were correct. I did all that stuff. Okay. So, is there anything else you'd
Oh,
like to?
somebody said Heidi the best and DeMarcus is the worst.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough. Who would say that? Who would say such a thing?
Damn, they say DeMarcus is the weakest. As long as they ain't saying I'm the weakest, I don't give a shit.
Mm. Mm.
Wow.
Damn, that's tough, man.
Mm. Hey James, how you doing? Hey Cartier, how you doing?
Do I need to put two? Do I need to minus 2 votes from DeMarcus since people have said he is the weakest? Oh, that's tough, man.
Damn, that's rough,
That's
Marcus.
tough.
You already got 2 votes, and we ain't even talking about your turn yet.
So, Big M, is that a nomination for Heidi, or is that just a opinion that you're stating? Because y'all gotta understand the chat be talking about, oh, I voted. Look, y'all gotta make a statement that says that I am voting for this mod for such and so that I know to properly allocate your votes where they should go. And so, like I said, I just need to make sure if you have or have not voted, you can text, but I'm trying to make sure I put the names under whoever voted for what, so that way y'all don't get the double vote and all that stuff. So yes, let me know that you're confirming your vote, so that people can't say, "Well, he did vote for me. I did vote for so and so," and I don't know.
You know what? It's mighty funny you trying to confirm who voted it, but the people in the chat vote for me. You don't try to confirm it, man.
I did confirm some votes for you.
You know what? I see what's going on here.
I've confirmed votes for you. Yo, you got the you got the you got the rehab, just like they got a beehive. You got a rehab, and they out there attacking. They attacking. They violating from every angle. They you know what I'm saying. They spamming me. You know what I'm saying. They campaigning. I think somebody tampered with the box, so you know it's a whole bunch of stuff going on. So you know there's that. So I want to vote for Heidi, but not okay with another white leader, especially a German. So I definitely agree with you on that. Begin, you got to be careful. I don't know. I can't tell y'all who to vote for, but here's the deal. It's about that time, so I'm gonna get ready to wind it down. Miss Rashida, I appreciate you calling in.
You didn't have to say you getting ready to wind it down. I was about to get off the phone anyway.
I'm looking at the time, and it's wind down time. Because see, now people be talking about, see, oh, you ending early, you doing this. 2 hours is the mark. I have to be adamant with I got to be stingy with my time. If y'all want better dance, better content, a better host, I have to be stingy with my time so that I can allocate these things to where they need to be.
Now, Big that's the best thing you said. The Heidi is the worst human in here. That's the only thing you said what I agree with.
But is Heidi really a human?
I don't know what that thing is. Anyway, shit, I can't remember. Anyway, forget it. I'm gone. That's it.
All right, Miss Rashida. Miss Rashida also promises 200 pistachios and a side man sandwich for everyone who votes for her. So, with that being said, I appreciate you calling in, Miss Rashida.
All right, take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Like I say, I got to be stingy with that. I know it's to the detriment of some of you. Some of y'all like, you ain't going long enough, and you was late. Yes, I was late, but I still gave y'all a solid 2 hours. And sometimes you need to take it. I need to use the facilities and shit. I'll be in this motherfucker holding it down, drinking all this liquid and shit. So here's the deal, man. I gotta get ready to slide up out of here. I appreciate y'all for coming through. Let's get the proper protocol out the way, and talk about it. Well, that is unfortunate for you, James. You should get here earlier. All right. So, like I said, Ed Honcho HTX on my personal Instagram and Twitter if you want to follow that. Like the video, hit that subscribe button, share with a friend. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Show Live at Gmail if you want to send an email. But you can contact through all those social media, especially if you want to place your vote for your favorite moderator. We'll stop taking votes on Saturday. Live Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Live 7 days a week, every night at 10 p.m. Central Time. The only time that matters is Central Time. Show Podcast Saturdays at 1 p.m. We go live on the audio podcast. You can join the chat. Make sure you go to Den Show Podcast, sign up, and follow the Den Show on that podcast. You want to go get you a Never Seen a Hater in Real Life shirt? Go to denshowshop.com and get you some Den Show merch. You can call or text 833-284-3336. If you want to call the Den line anytime, you can text, you can send news, you can send links, you can send whatever you got on your mind. That is always welcome. If you want to support the channel on a one-time donation, you can go to streamlabs.com/The Den Show. And if you want to support the channel on a month-to-month basis, shout out to all the Patreon supporters. I owe y'all some content this month. It was not, like I said, I've been working on a lot of things in between, behind the scenes. And so, like I said, I definitely slacked up this month, and I'm almost got everything done. But I owe y'all a lot of content. I owe y'all some short videos. I just, like I said, just in between the streams, and especially getting back on the sauce and then some other. It's just, I'm getting it all together. And that's why, like I said, I've been having to cut the stream by like 2 hours by, so that way I can work on other stuff and make sure I got everything in order. But I appreciate y'all. But shout out to Miss Grace, James, Stina Storyide, Dan the Man, Diana, Betty Spaghetti, Miss Goya, and Donald Trump. But I appreciate y'all for having faith in the long-term success of this community. Shout out to all of you. Shout out to the Den folks, the denizens, the degenerates, the friends in the Den, and all you pistachio pilfering people. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming through. Make sure you get your vote in by Saturday. Moderators, y'all better get on your campaign game. But all I'm saying is, it is a tight race. That is all I'm going to say about that. But with that being said, and y'all got to make sure, like, if you say you vote for somebody, make sure I see it so I can confirm. If I don't confirm it, I probably haven't tallied your vote. But I will let you know if I've told you I got you or whatever, then I've confirmed your vote. So with that being said, Chuck and Medusa, I appreciate y'all coming through. I'm gonna steal a couple of spatulas before I get up out of here. If this keyboard ain't fucking tripping, I don't think it's the batteries. But anyway, I'm gone. And I'm happy to be your host. It is a pleasure, a privilege, and an honor. I'm at Honcho. I'll catch y'all later tonight at 10. We may be talking about the Democratic debates tonight, just to see, if anything changed or what not. But if not, we may have a Women's Wednesday conversation. Goodbye. DeMarkey got 2 votes for being the worst. That's a shame. Man. That boy, DeMarkey, is tough like Sparky. And he bullied women at Publix. I'm gone.